This Once Human guide is all about the best all-around free build. I'm going to be teaching you the best weapon loadout to use, how to get it, how to get every single thing with this build. But before I start with that, I'm going to tell you what the build is, and then I'm going to tell you what's good and bad about it. I'm going to show you some DPS tests, unbuffed and buffed, and then I'm going to get into all the details. So this is an Icy Rain build guide. I'm going to teach you how that this is one of the most tankiest builds you can have, giving you 16 to 81% damage reduction, which may not sound like much, but when you get on harder servers, when you do solo LEA raids, the LEA dungeon, you're going to need damage reduction big time. This also infinitely shoots forever with no reloads. You heal spam 15% of your maximum life rapidly and consistently, and this is the best AoE mob clear in the entire game. So this build is best for silo clearing. It is one of the fastest silo clearing builds, because not only does it increase your movement speed upon kill, you're hyper tanky, you just AoE the entire screen, you self-heal, you shoot forever. This is also really good for mob farming. If you just want to farm mobs, get acid, get gunpowder, whatever it is you need, this is the build for you. And you can solo everything in the game. You can solo the LEA dungeon, you can solo all the hardest content, even on the hardest difficulties. However, you can't really solo the Prime War. That is a bingo sniper build, which this one is not. But you can still participate in the Prime Wars and still get all 3 loot boxes. And, even in Nightmare mode, even without breaking or using cannons or biomissiles, you just wait for the boss's shields to go down, and then you just spam it with infinite bullets. You will get a very high ranking. Now, this build is also good for bossing, Cortex defense, and refinery defense. It's not as fast as the Jaws build, but it's still really, really good. And finally, this build is bad at PvP and immune bosses or flying enemies, because it is a Frost Vortex based build, and if the enemy is flying, it just casts the Frost Vortex on the ground under them. So here is a DPS test. You can see that I can basically shoot infinitely forever, and look at that damage. This is pretty nutty, about 18,000, and you can see here that the target dummy here was taking about 6,000 to 7,000 DPS, and I can just shoot forever. I can shoot infinitely, never have to reload. The gun will automatically reload for me, and it will constantly spam heal me for 15% of my life. So this time we're going to use Fortress Warfare and summon a deviant, so it's going to look something like this. Swap to shotgun, swap back, that gives us Fortress Warfare. We begin blasting into the target dummy here, and we could pretty much hold 40k DPS almost indefinitely. You can see here the target dummy on our left, just from the AoE, got up to 30,000 DPS, so that's pretty nutty, but it gets even crazier. So while I can't show this one because the target dummies cannot be bullseyed, if we use a Wildfire Deagle, we can get 16% vulnerability debuff on these guys, which adds 30,000 DPS, so we can hit about 50,000, and that's without the Deviant. So with the Deviant, it would be about 70, 75, upwards of 80k DPS, depending on server lag. Next up, we're going to be running 2 food buffs for this next test. This one is the Whimsical Drink. This one gives us 25% status damage boost, and the other one is the Shellfish Meat, which gives us a 5% vulnerability on the target. This adds about 10,000. And the cool thing is because Whimsical Drink is a drink, you can stack it with the food buff, so you double dip in damage. Alright, let us test everything, all buffs active. So there's the Deviant, swap for Fortress Warfare, and just start blasting. So there we go. Now you're going to be doing so much more damage than this. 50k right there, and 37k on the residual dummy there. So one of the reasons why you're going to be doing way more damage, as you can see here, our 3rd perk on the heavy duty set, is that when you kill an enemy, you gain 40% elemental damage, which is actually more damage than the legendary set, which only stacks to 30% when you shoot targets. Now you may be thinking, well, what if I'm fighting a boss and there's no little critters to kill? Every boss in this game has little things to kill, and it lasts 8 seconds. It says it decays over 8 seconds. That is not true. You keep that 40% damage buff the entire 8 seconds. It's just a translation error. So this is where my build guide will be a little different than anyone else's you've seen so far on YouTube. Mine is basically future-proofed in the sense that if all of these other websites die that have like interactable maps or hoping that you just know where this stuff is, every single little tiny bit of info of exactly where you need to go at what time and what to do is going to be in this video. I'm not just going to show you, oh, here's the weapon mods to use, here's the equipment to use, good luck. No, I am going to absolutely hold your hand through the entire rest of the video, and if you want to learn where all these pieces are, just stay tuned. This guide is built so that 10 years from now, when you have forgotten everything about this game, you can watch this video and come right back to it, and you will be able to figure everything out without relying on other websites or innate knowledge that you've picked up from playing the game. So let's start with week 1, the very first day of a server opening. Your 3 goals are to obtain the Sandstorm shotgun. So this weapon, when you swap to it, it gives you Fortress Warfare. So you swap to it, swap back to your main weapon, and that's a huge damage and a nice little defense boost too. The next thing is 3 Flame Resonance Talents mods, and the Wildfire Deagle, which is completely optional. That does cost starchrom. But the Wildfire Talents mod is simply just status damage and elemental damage. And then the third mod can be whatever you want, preferably a double blue, if you can manage it. So the first step is getting Sandstorm, and this is in the Tier 2 zone, which is High Banks. And what you're going to do is, once you've completed the very first zone of the game, that is the Dayton Wetlands, you'll be in Deadsville, and it's going to tell you that you need to go to Myers Market. But as you all know, it's better off to not go straight to Myers Market, but instead start activating these Rift Anchors. You're going to go to High Banks, and I'm going to show you where it's at in High Banks by teleporting nearby. Now, just a heads up, if you're brand new to this game and you need help just getting through the zones quickly, I have a video just for you. It's called Become OP Early, the best possible start for new players. And all you have to do in this very video is just click the description, scroll down. I have links to all of my videos right in here, and best start for new players, go ahead and click that one. Now, if you already know the game, this is how to get that Wildfire Deagle, which is optional. It will cost 2,000 starchrom, but it's absolutely needed for group play. It will massively boost your group's DPS. So again, that video is the best early game weapon. This will teach you how to get the Deagle like right as you enter Deadsville for the first time. Like literally right after the tutorial, I show you exactly what to do to trick the game to give you 2,000 free starchrom, and you can get this weapon immediately, and it's the strongest weapon in week 1. So you'll be running around with the Wildfire Deagle and the Sandstorm shotgun, just one-tapping everything. So once you get into the High Banks area, you're just going to proceed to this little big building kind of right here in the southern part, right under the icon. And this is what it looks like in the game. And I know it's nighttime, just turn up your contrast if you really can't see the screen. It should be plenty bright for you. And anyway, all you're going to do is just walk up onto this little stage here, where this Skibidi Toilet Monster is. And it's right here in this crate. That's the Sandstorm blueprint. Next up is how to get Flame Resonance, which is also very, very close. So here's Deadsville. You just go straight west, and you're going to see Securement Silo Sigma. You have to run this on normal difficulty, which in the first week of a server, you can only run this on normal difficulty. So just continue to run this until you have at least 3 Flame Resonances. And when I say run it, you have to kill the boss and use your controllers in order to get the loot. And don't give me any lip about, oh, that's a waste of controllers, because it's not, alright? We will be using those Flame Resonances, at least 2 of them for our tank set and 3 for our glass cannon set, so you need to get them. There's currently no better mod than Flame Resonance for this build. How do you get controllers, though? Do a public crisis events like where does disco go? If I go do where does this disco go, I can get 3 controllers a day. You can also talk to V by holding tab and then click summon V, which that unsummoned him. When you talk to him, click view commissions, and you can get 25 of these a week from him. Also, keep an eye on the PvP mission that's called like Cargo Hunt or Cargo something. I forget the name. But you need to be doing this, and this is where there is a car. You shoot the car, it breaks down. a jellyfish will attach to someone's head, you beat them up. Once it gets put on your head, everyone will try to beat you up. Most of these are usually unmanned on PvE servers, so you can just solo it and sit there with the jellyfish on top of your head. And in random increments, you will be given a polar jelly, which is the deviant that you can summon here. You can summon it in place. It will cast, you know, frost vortexes. Or you can chunk it and throw it at like an enemy far away, and then have it plant there and cast a big ice AoE attack. The final thing to do is to level up to at least level 40, because as soon as week 2 opens, you're going to want to have tier 5 equipment, and you need to be level 40 to wear tier 5 equipment. Use this video. Once human, fastest way to level up, AFK method, best mob grind, set level cap, and phase 1 fast. You can hit level 50 in a single day, the first day of playing on a new server, by following this guide. It's really quick and easy. There's no excuse not to be high leveled as soon as week 2 happens. Now, once week 2 rolls around, this is all the things that you will need to do. We're going to get the weapon, the Icy Rain, and its accessories. The 5 pieces of the heavy-duty armor set. You don't really need 5 pieces. You can spin starchrom on the Lone Wolf set if you want. We're going to get the Frost Tactical Vest key item, recipe for Whimsical Drink, and the starter set for our mods. Let me show you where to get the Icy Rain, the weapon that the whole video is about. So, once you go to the tier 4 zone, that is Chalk Peak, you're going to encounter the town Tallgrass Inn. Southwest of Tallgrass Inn, you're going to find the Rotten Saddle area, and it's just on a roof, and I'll show you where it's at. But we're going to take the teleporter that's near the town here, and it's simply on a rooftop at the top left of this town icon. So here's the town icon, the little housing icon. Top left, right in here, is where it's at. And let me show you exactly where it's at. So if we open the map, we want to get on this top left building here. And so we have these 2 red buildings, and I am facing west right now. I'm going to enter the rightmost building, which will then have me facing northwest. And I'm just going to go straight up the stairs here. So we're going up the stairs. There we go. Continuing to go up the stairs. Very simple. And then you're going to have like a little loot crate there. We're going to take this doorway. We're facing north. We're going to then face east. And we're just going to run around the side of the building here. And now we're facing south. And the Icy Rain is right in this box. Now let's talk about the heavy duty armor. So the first chest we're going to get, if you go from Tallgrass Inn, we're going to go west all the way over here to Green Lake Hill. And we're going to teleport near it, and I'll show you where it's at. So once you're at Green Hills Lake, and I am being attacked, right here, Green Lake Hills, you're going to go southwest of this little icon, and it's on top of a white building. So pretty easy to get to. So we're just going to walk southwest, and you can see that there is a white building just southwest, more so west than south. And you just climb up to the top. It's real simple. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. So we're just going to climb up the ladder here. There we go. And then right here is your first piece of heavy armor. Now, the second chest is pretty far south. So just to show you how far we have Tallgrass Inn, we're going all the way southwest to the very bottom left of the map here. And we're going to Silver Shore Resort. And I'm just going to teleport there, show you exactly where it's at. Now, from the northern teleport tower, you can actually glide and get there pretty easy. But it's going to be just to the right of the icon. So here's the icon, and you want to land just to the right, kind of on this building. And I just hit a tree and almost died, but luckily I caught it just in time. I'm going to show you how to get there from the ground floor, though. We want to get to that second floor balcony. And so all we're going to do is run inside the building and then run up the stairs. Also, I'm just going to grab that stuff. Nice little microscope so we can look at germs and stuff, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we're just going to run up here to the second floor and then on the balcony. And, oh, is that a deviation in there? No, that's not a deviation. I thought I saw a deviation. There shouldn't be one in here. I'm like, what? Did they add that? Is that new? Anyway, we need to get to the balcony. And there we go. So here's the balcony, and that is the second heavy-duty armor set. Also, real quick, do you guys want to see me just beat up this boss? I just want to show you how strong this build is. So, summon deviant, swap to shotgun, and we're just going to gun him down, and look at that health, it's dead. It's dead within like half a second, guys. Now, the third chest is going to be, here is tall grass, and we're going to go northwest this time to a place called Evergreen Vineyard, and we're going to go into the building just south of the icon here. So, here's the icon, we're going to go just south of it, right inside that building. So here is what the house that we need to go into looks like. There's a big tower, there's like a house, kind of a slanted roof, and so we're going to go inside, and it's on the second floor. There's a few ways to get up to that second floor. Let's go ahead and just find just a doorway to get in. So here we are, and yeah, there's some dudes here, but you know, they're just going to melt, whatever. So you can jump on the bar here and just kind of climb up, and that's the easy way, and it's right here, the chest is right there. But if for whatever reason you can't, you have to jump behind the bar and then go up the stairs. I don't know why I have to tell you this, but yeah, the third piece is right here in that chest. Once you have the blueprints, it's very important that you do not fuse the chest piece. We will never, ever be using the heavy-duty chest piece, because that is where our key item comes in that we'll be using instead, which is the Frost Tactical Vest. Now, I personally recommend that you only fuse the helmet, the glove, the mask, and the boots. You can also fuse your pants if you want. However, I really recommend that you spend 3,000 starchrom on the Lone Wolf pants and just grab those, because it gives you magazine capacity and it matches the shirt, which we're going to get next. Now, the Frost Tactical Vest is pretty close to our current location. If you just go northeast to this area called 73 Source Extraction Point, which is also located west of Blackfell, you know, the main town everyone trades in, it's right in here, and it's going to be in the top right of the icon inside a building. I'll show you. So here's where to find it, and here's how to get there. So I'm at the south entrance of the 73 Source Extraction Point, and you would normally want to fight your way through this, but you don't really have to, and we're just going to ride that elevator to the top here. So yes, there is an elevator. You just get in the elevator, ride this bad boy to the top. There we go. Once you reach the top, we're going to kind of loop around the right side here. And yeah, this build just slaps. They just melt. Absolutely melt. There we go, melting them. We're going to go up top here using the little tower, and man, someone made a meme the other day where it's like, it's a bunch of those seagulls from some animated show, and it's like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Like, instead of saying mine, 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 they said, did you hear that? Anyway, we're gonna go in this this room here, and we're gonna jump down a floor, a couple floors, I guess. And yes, there is a main story quest here. That's why there's butterflies flying around. There we go. And then it's just down here. It's in this warning virus leak room. You go inside here, and then this is where the armor is at. Very simple. Now let's get the food buff recipe. So the shellfish meat recipe, it's in your cradle. You just go to memetics, and it's dishes number 3. So you scroll down here, and dishes number 3 will unlock the shellfish meat. The whimsical drink recipe is actually very close to where we once were at that vineyard. So let me show you once again. So here is Tallgrass Inn. We go north and a little bit west, and we're going to go to Brewery Estate, and it is literally right inside the mansion. You just take a left. I'll show you. So we're pulling up to the mansion now. It's a nice looking little mansion. Got some guards outside, whatever. Just, you know, murder them if you want. They're so weak that they can't really hurt me at this point. So as soon as you enter the doorway, take a left. And there we go. It's going to be right here on the counter. There it is, the whimsical drink. Next up, we're going to be getting the weighted SMG mag. This is very important so that we have higher magazine capacity, which lets us potentially shoot forever. So here is Blackfell, and it's all the way north. And on your map, if you're in week 2, you're not going to see White Cliff yet. That's a week 3 feature. But you're going to go up here towards this little river, and I'm going to show you what you have to do in order to earn this. Alright, so once you reach the coordinates on your screen, it should look something like this. You should be in this little green area north of this river here. All you have to do is jump on this lily pad. There we go, and it lights up, and then you just jump on this lily pad, and then it lights up, and then there you go. That's how you get it. It's pretty simple. There's also a frog the leaper here sometimes, and this thing gives you free fishing bait, so it's just nice to have. Next is the integrated compensator, and you're going to go to the coordinates on the screen. Now, you can do this in week 1. So this is Gray Water Camp. You go southeast, and it's right in here. Just, again, follow the coordinates, and you'll see a couple of people that left whispers. You can check it out, and they're like, just use the bye-bye emote after interacting with the camera. And so there will be a camera here, but I've already gotten it. And so what you do is you hold, for me, it's the X button. You go to More, and then you use the emote bye-bye after you interact with the camera, and then you will receive the accessory as a reward. Next is the compact reflex sight. You can buy this from Severin7, and this dude, he's got the little box with him, and he's in every town, so just talk to him. I don't know if he's in the first town. I'm pretty sure he is, but yeah, he just sells it, and it costs 80 planular, whatever the hell these things, stellar planulas. It's fine, just go ahead and buy it for 80. For the tactical combine grip, you're going to go to the coordinates on the screen. So here is Blackfell. Go directly north along the road, and it's right up here. And this one's a little weird. Now, I can't show you because I've already got it, but once you're at these chords, you're going to face northwest. There will be a balloon in the sky, and you just pop it. The balloon will move a few times, you'll pop it a few more times, and that will reward you with the tactical combine grip. So why did we use these accessories? Now, I'm just going to talk real quick about accessories. I made a whole separate video on accessories, but essentially, for this weapon, you're going to be almost always fighting at close range, so boosting your range is useless. Your stability, getting it around 60 is the sweet spot so that you can easily control it. Having too little makes it really hard and just all over the place for shooting mid to long range targets, and having it really, really high doesn't do anything. You can just control it by moving your mouse down a little bit. Accuracy does not matter much because it's a submachine gun. You're going to be mostly close. It's still rather accurate at 40. Boosting this thing to 100 will turn it into a laser beam, which you don't need. You're not, like, out here lasering people. You're just tickling them with bullets wherever. It doesn't matter where you're shooting them. And the Frost Vortex is the bulk of your damage. Reload speed, you can't really change this. Don't worry about it. Mobility is completely pointless. It's a submachine gun. You're already quite mobile with it. And so the main thing, like, you don't even need the muzzle, optic, or tactics. You don't need those. The only thing you need is the weighted submachine gun mag, because it gives you plus 10 to magazine capacity. That is why you want this bad boy. Now, for the calibration, you're going to want heavy style, which gives you magazine capacity. It slows your reload speed, but you never reload unless the server lags. Real talk. You want it with double crit rate. Now, the one I'm showing here is not even legendary. It's just purple. And so you don't even need a legendary one with magazine capacity. I have tried legendary variants of different styles, and without heavy style, you will get bad RNG, and server lag will screw you, and you will be reloading and losing a ton of DPS, which if you're not constantly shooting, you're not constantly healing, which means you might just die. So it's very important to go with heavy style, and the crit rate almost guarantees that you will have enough crit to always be popping Frost Vortexes, because the way this weapon works is you have a 40% chance to trigger Frost Vortex when you crit, and you want to be critting as much as possible. Now let's talk about helmet mods. Now this one I'm using is Elemental Havoc, and you want Deviation Expert. However, I didn't bother farming it because I don't care about doing slightly tiny bit more damage. Like, this one is good enough. And Elemental Havoc is essentially just 10% elemental damage. When your HP is above 90%, which it always will be, you get another 10%. So it's pretty similar damage to Deviation Expert. Deviation Expert is just technically better. However, it never dropped for me. I didn't bother farming. You farm this in Silo Alpha. Silo Alpha is right over here. So here is Tall Grass Inn. You go northwest, and it is super close to this area, which is the Alpha Institute. It's right in here. Securement Silo Alpha. Just go run that. Now, for your mask mod, you want Flame Resonance with the Talents modifier. This gives you elemental damage, and you get this from Silo Sigma Normal. You should have gotten this during your first week. Silo Sigma is located west of Deadsville, so here's Deadsville. You go west along the river, along the road, and here is Securement Silo Sigma. Next up is the Glove mod Crit Boost. This gives you 15% crit rate. You also want talents if you can manage to find one. And you also get this from Silo Sigma, but you'll have to run it on hard or pro mode to find this one. Next up is the Boot mod Covered Advance, and you want this because when you take no damage and after 4 seconds you gain a 20% boost to your weapon and status damage, so your bullets hit harder and your Frost Vortexes hit harder. It lasts 30 seconds. Even if you get hit, you still have it and for the full 30 seconds. It's just free damage. And you find it in Silo PHI, Phi, I don't know how to pronounce it, but here is Greywater Camp. You go northwest. It is right here, and you can't really farm this, the good one, at least in week 1. Wait till week 2 and get the legendary version. Now, for your chest mod, if you're going Glass Cannon, you'll be running Flame Resonance, which I've already told you how to get that and where to get it, so rewind the video if you forgot. Now, for tank, though, you want to run Resist Advantage. So, when you're out of combat, which means if you haven't been hit or have shot anything in, I think, 3 or 4 seconds, it might be 8 seconds, it was 8 seconds in the beta, but essentially, you gain 1 stack of 10% damage reduction every 5 seconds, and it stacks up to 5 times. That is 50% damage reduction. So that means that if a boss hits you with a very large, heavy attack, or if one of those kamikaze mobs runs up and blows themselves up on you, you will survive the damage. And it's in Silo Theta? I think it's Theta. But here's Blackfell. You go northeast, and it is right there. It's super close by. For your pants, you're going to run Flame Resonance. Some people say, oh, run Reload Rampage, but you don't need to reload 2 bullets when you kill a mob, and it's less damage, so there's no point. For your weapon mod, you're going to be running Frosty Blessing, and this is what heals you. When Frost Vortex disappears, which it will be rapidly disappearing because you will be overriding them by putting so many down. There's a limit of 3 that you can have down at a time with this weapon, and they're just going to be like boom, 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 boom. They're going to be deleting themselves super quick. This is how we're restoring. It was 15% HP, and I know I said that at the start of the video, but it looks like after the patch they nerfed it to 10%. It's still busted and overpowered. You should still use this. Now, you get this from Ravenous Hunter on hard mode, which is not available until week 3, but you can have a very tiny % chance to find this from the Wolf boss on normal. I found one after 25 runs, so it's not recommended to waste controllers on that. You can also run around Blackfell, the Blackfell regions, right, or Blackheart regions, rather, and you can open weapon crates, and it's a really tiny % chance to find one. I've never found one in a weapon crate. That's just what other people say, but apparently that's a way to get it on week 2 if you really want it that bad. And just in case you forgot, the Monolith of Greed, the very first boss of the game, this is where the Ravenous Hunter is. So here is Deadsville. You just go north, and it is right here at the Monolith of Greed. You have to do it in hard mode, though. It ain't going to drop on normal. So do pro mode when that unlocks on week 4. So as far as armor upgrades goes, you should really get at least 1-piece Lone Wolf, just because the magazine capacity is nice. But if you want to go Glass Cannon, instead of running 4-piece Heavy Duty, you would run 2-piece Lone Wolf, and that's going to give you 5% more crit rate, which means more Frost Vortexes, which means slightly more damage. It's only like 3,000 to 5,000 on the target dummy, so it's not really that much of a big of a deal. But you're giving up like all of your damage reduction, and then if you run Flame Resonance instead of Resist Advantage, you know, that's another 2,000 to 3,000 damage per second on the target dummies. So, as far as any other upgrades goes, some people are going to say, oh, you should upgrade to the, what is the cowboy hat set? I forget. It's, I forget the name. Yeah, the Sheltered set. And now, this thing, it only gives you 38% more elemental damage, whereas with the heavy set, we get 48% elemental damage, because we're going to be killing adds, okay? We're going to be killing, you know, adds in an MMO term, it just means like extra mobs added to the fight, essentially. So the sheltered set, even though it has slightly higher HP and psi intensity, it is a DPS loss. And so I recommend that you just stay and upgrade your heavy set all the way, you know, max out those stars, all right? So heavy duty clothing set, max out those stars, get that thing pumped all the way up, and you will be golden. All right, so how about I show you the build in action? Now, I want to point out that while I do have food buffs rolling on my character, these buffs are just from like a canned, Stardust energy drink. So that's double jump, and the other one is weak spot damage, because it's the only food and drink I had in my inventory at the time. So here we go. We're going to do LEA Research Lab. This is pro difficulty, and I'm going to go ahead and just reset the progress here, because I just like farming the first boss, really, for the Mitsuko Rebecca doll. But yeah, let me just show you just how much damage we're doing. And, you know, I usually just run past the mobs here, you know, but we can kill them if you want. And this is, again, unbuffed. So there we go. We just instantly delete the mob. But what we're going to do is we're going to kill the two bosses in the first fight here insanely super duper quickly. And so we're going to run up to this boss, you know, pop our deviant, and then we're just going to machine gun them down. And we don't even have to shoot weak points if we don't want to. You can see that I just took a huge amount of damage, but I healed it back pretty much instantly. And so that boss is dead. And while my health is drained here, my health is absolutely drained. Look at it just pop right back up. I am just fully healing. And yeah, the mobs are hitting really hard. And remember, I have damage reduction on. So look at this. I am just fully healed all the time. This boss is dead. And that's the first fight. Already done. Boom. And we just got another Rebecca doll here. So... well, my backpack is full, but hey, it gets mailed to me, that's fine. She can chill in the mailbox. And yeah, see how easy that fight was? It was effortless. I just literally held left click, and the game basically wouldn't let me die. It's that simple. And so here's my stats, just to show you. You could get crit rate way higher. I just don't have a good calibration for that. And crit damage, like, it doesn't matter. Weak spot damage doesn't matter. You know, a lot of this, what does matter is like your frost elemental damage, your status damage, and, you know, damage to enemies to great ones also. I'm sorry for the voices. But this is what counts. Damage reduction. We're sitting at base 50%. Alright, and when I do a dodge roll, that's another 15%, which I don't think I can scroll down in time, no. But also when enemies are nearby, because of our heavy set, that gives us 16 extra % damage reduction. So here is the cradles you're going to use. Obviously, automatic weapon enhancement because you're using SMGs, that's just more damage. You want deviation master for more damage. You want agility for damage reduction. I know the text is slightly in the way here. Let me just scoot that over. There we go. And it's only 4 seconds, but hey, if you dodge roll, 50% damage reduction is a lot. Brawl boost for PvP. If you're not PvPing, you want sprint instead with tactical combo, because when you weapon swap, that's just more damage. You should be weapon swapping with Sandstorm anyway, and Wildfire. Status enhancement for more damage. Sustained suppression for more damage. Steady hand is what you want to use if you're using Sandstorm, which I solo a lot, so I'll use Sandstorm. But if I'm using Bounty Hunter for the Wildfire, because everyone should be running Wildfire in a group, you get, you know, you're going to toggle that one instead. And if you're a pictures kind of person, then here's, you know, how I do it. So there you go. This is just what I'm rolling with. You can feel free to rewind or pause the video if you need to see the icons. Now, this build can solo everything in the game except Prime Wars. Now, when you go to a Prime War, you just shoot the boss when the shield is down, kill the ads if you want, and you'll get the high enough rating to unlock all the difficulties. You'll get all the loot boxes just by shooting it. That's all you have to do. It's really simple. Now, what I do recommend, though, is that you have gear sets, because when you do LEA Labs, a lot of your gear is going to get chipped and broken. As you can see, I've lost like 2 pieces of my my gear so I no longer get that set bonus. And so when you're doing LEA Labs, when you're doing, you know, any kind of hard content or long content, you want to have different sets. And so this set can carry and solo you through the whole game, but because there's a few bosses, especially in a few silos, that are immune to frost damage, just open your menu when you get to the boss, and then you just swap to it real quick. So, like for instance, I can swap to a shrapnel set here, and now I have, you know, my shrapnel build, which I can just, you know, blast, you know, whatever. This shrapnel build, I didn't really build it up too well. That's why the DPS is not so good. But essentially, you know, if I'm done fighting the boss with the shrapnel build, then I can just go to my, you know, settings and say I don't need to be a tank. I can swap to my DPS set here. You know, swap to my DPS set. There we go. And now I'm all ready to go with my, you know, super high damage glass cannon mode. And you just continuously swap throughout the dungeons to whatever it is you need for whatever boss. And that's going to make the game way easier than just running a single set. Anyway, that's the build. It literally solves the game. It's probably not going to get nerfed. We'll see. And enjoy soloing everything in the game, fully healing, being tanky as hell, and dealing insane amounts of damage without technically really spending starchrom. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm Soul Benji. Leave a like before you go. Click the video on the right side of your screen. And if you don't, then what's going to happen is you're just going to have more dishes to clean than usual. I don't know.